Hey everyone, so it's been quite a while since I posted a video. I've had a lot of going on. Actually, it's been over a year since I posted a video and even put stuff on my blog and everything just because I've been so busy with different things. First off, got a new little nose piercing. Hurts like a bitch, but you know, it's there. That's good news. The reason for the video today, not so good news, but you know, oh well. It's my life, and that's how my life is sometimes. It's not always fun. So, back in January, I shared a post that someone had posted on their Facebook, and it was about domestic abuse or domestic violence. As someone who has had trauma and has gone through similar situations, I felt I needed to be a voice for toxic relationships and domestic abuse. So I shared it, and this is what I wrote, because I'll read it. I said, "Not scared to share. I do not care what the reasons you do not put your hands on a woman. You do not scream in someone's face. You get the help that you need to become a better person. Most comments on this person's original post are supportive, but there are a few that aren't. And to those that aren't, please educate yourself. It doesn't matter what she did, is doing, or will do. She doesn't deserve this toxic behavior. And mostly, that baby doesn't deserve it. I have been through similar, and whether it was my fault or both our faults, it shouldn't have happened and is toxic and needs to be dealt with by getting out. All negative comments will be deleted, and if you block me, that's fine, because I can't have people like that on my Facebook." I knew I was going to get backlash for this, especially from this person's family, because it's my in-laws, it's my husband's family. And it's just kind of funny that if you're an outsider of this family and you do something wrong, you're the dog shit. Nothing you do is right. Everything they do is correct, and everything you do is wrong. That's what I've come to realize with this family. And I don't care if that pisses you off by me saying that, because it's the truth. I got a comment, and I didn't delete it, even though it was negative, because I want people to see that there are people out there that support this. And I guess I do say support. And this is by this person's sister. Which, of course, it's the sister. And they're going to support their brother. Fine, whatever. But I'm sorry, if this was my brother, I wouldn't just be going off and saying things. So, they put, "Things aren't always what they seem. While he is not a perfect man, she's not perfect either. You don't know anything about the relationship or who they are in general other than what is posted online. 1 minute she's happy-go-lucky, and the next she's posting pictures of cat scratches. Reposting this is upsetting. People make mistakes and deserve a little grace from their families, don't they, Melissa? Again, this person isn't perfect, but blasting him without all the facts on social media isn't going to solve anything. Please just remember this is only one side, and to be honest, you'll never know his because he doesn't take to social media to air his problems." Cute. Cute. This was my response. And this is why I share these things. Because while there are two sides to every story, unless you have ever been in this type of toxicity, then you cannot say anything and be empathetic on the situation. I spoke on the toxicity of this behavior. No matter what a person does, it does not warrant having things thrown at them, walls punched, or another person's hands on their bodies. Didn't you read the book, It Ends With Us? Read that book, it's great, by the way. Spoke perfectly on situations like this. And one thing I have learned from families, and yes, I did put that in quotation marks, by the way, is that if you are an outsider they immediately turn against you and make you feel like the most insignificant person because of your mistakes. And I said that to her response to me by saying that her family is very forgiving, or, you know, that they deserve a little grace. Because, little quick backstory, me and my husband split up for a few months, and they didn't know the reason why we split up. Only got his side of the story, not mine. And then, yeah, I dated someone, and oh God, can't do that. Pissed them all off. So then I was a complete piece of shit. And they treated me like a complete piece of shit. And until I got back with him, and some time had gone on, I still felt like they were treating me like a complete piece of shit. So, yeah, that's a little backstory. And so, yeah, them giving grace, no, none at all. You get 0. You fuck up and you're not a blood relative, you're done. They're done with you. They don't care. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, moving on from that. While forgiving, a person has to go through ridicule and hate first before being forgiven. And that is not how it should be. Because again, with my situation, you know, things happened. I did things I wasn't proud of. And you know what? He also did things that he wasn't proud of that we grew and learned from. And that's why we got back together. Because we learned that, you know, okay, we both messed up. We want to work things out. And now we're doing great. But, you know, I was called a whore. I was called a bitch. I was called every fucking name in the book by these family of Christians. Just gonna put that little bear in there too. Judgmental Christians, by the way. Yeah. Anyways. Sorry. I laugh sometimes because it's just so funny. Anyways. People didn't know my side of the story with my issues. Yet they instantly crapped on me. And treated me like I was the biggest pile of shit to ever walk on this earth. While I agree there are more issues in this situation, the hindsight of it all is that no one deserves to have violence in their lives. This is also why so many women do not come forward, because they are scared of what the families will think of them and blame it on them as well. Funny. Again, just funny. Sorry, but someone who has substance and alcohol abuse issues should get help and work on themselves and then try again later with relationships. Also, some people go to social media as their outlet and their only way to get their side put out there. While I love my family, if anyone in my family did this to someone, I would instantly be trying to see why this is and try to get them help, not to blame or shame anyone. I also do not share or repost things for people to like it. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was put on this earth to get approval from people. I wasn't. Sorry. Sorry I hurt your feelings, but I don't care. I really don't. So I will keep this up. I do it to share awareness on things like this. So I will keep this up, and I do not care. I really don't. I mean, it's still up, so I haven't taken it off, so I don't care. This is still toxic behavior. And until he gets the help he needs, he will continue down that path. Because I'm sorry, the last time I checked, if you were an alcoholic and didn't get the help that you needed, you're still going to be an alcoholic. And even when you do get help, you're still an alcoholic. Because you can't drink anymore. If you have substance abuse issues, you're still a drug addict. Even if you go to rehab and get help, you're still an addict. And while I completely and 100% support the people that do go and get the help that they need, if you're not willing to do that, then you are in the wrong. And you need to get the help that you need. End of story. I also put, a person can post that they are all happy-go-lucky. I mean, hello. Haven't you seen the stories about these wonderful couples and then the husband killed the wife? Or the wife killed the husband? Or they had this horrible breakup, but oh my God, they were so happy on Instagram. Well, no shit, because they're not going to put all the bad stuff out there. Hello? Gotta be a little bit smarter there, honey. And I said, they could post happy-go-lucky photos and their life could be completely falling apart. Because that is the only way for them to be happy, is to remind themselves that they are happy times and to post that the happy times are still there, even though there's not. I did that when I was going through stuff with my ex, because you want it to be that way. You want your life to be happy-go-lucky. So you feel that if you post that, then it's reality. But it's not. It's an altered reality. Again, if you've never been in a toxic or abusive relationship, then you have no idea what it's like. I didn't get a response. I wonder why. I'm still waiting. I'm still kind of waiting for a response. But no, what happened, the response that I got was this person, her sister, her mother, going to my mother-in-law, my husband's mom, and bitching about me and about what I post. Instead of, saying it to my face, because, can't do that because they know damn well that I will put them in their place. Because again, I will put you in your place, honeys, any day. And my actions right now might not seem the best, but it just pisses me off so much because of the fact that I have been there. I have been through the trauma. And until you can go through that yourself, you have no idea. With my ex-husband, who I really hate talking about it now, because the man he was then is not the man he is now. The man he was then was a young 20-something-year-old, married too young, had kids too young, in a toxic marriage with me person. Now he is a very happy, healthy, wonderful co-parent, wonderful father. So I hate talking about it, but I still feel like it needs to be brought up because I want to talk about the toxic part of it. And that no matter what people's actions are, it does not condone violence of any sort. I don't know both sides of the story to what I posted. Do I care? No. Because at the end of the day, like I said in my post, it doesn't matter what she did. It does not warrant for any type of violence. Now, if she was violent towards him, yes, that is a little bit of a different story. But again, then he should have gone and done something to help her if she had issues with being violent. And her reaching out on social media was her way to get her voice heard. And whether she caused any of this doesn't matter. Because again, violence doesn't warrant any violence. There does not need to be any violence at all. But if they're in a toxic relationship and you have a person who's an alcoholic and a substance abuser, it's hard to get out of that toxicity. Because you want to help that person. You want to see the good. And when you want to see the good, you want to stay, even when it's toxic. And again, I'm so pissed when people sit there and say that what I did with my ex warranted the violence that I was given. No. And as much as I still love this man because he is the father of my children, the trauma he put me through, I will always remember it. It won't go away. And, I, yes, did bad things. I wasn't a good wife. I will sit here and I will tell every single person I was not a good wife to him. I was young. I was stupid. I was a young mother. I wanted to go and do things and, meet other people. And I was stupid. I did stupid things. And I do not condone my actions, ever. But my actions also did not warrant having a knife put to my throat. Having a lighter put to my hair telling me that they were going to set it on fire. It didn't warrant having a friend of mine text me in the middle of the night while I was asleep just to say hi. And I hadn't even talked to this person. And I wake up to my ex on top of me with his hands around my neck. It didn't warrant having a fist come this close to my face and punch the wall. It didn't warrant me running into my kids' rooms hoping he wouldn't put his hands on me in front of our kids, and yet he still did. It didn't warrant him pushing me and me falling over on top of one of my kids. None of my actions warranted any of that. I admit there were times that we got in fights, and I would kind of back him up into a corner because I didn't want him to leave, and I wanted to talk about things instead of letting him cool off. But that was only a few times. None of that warranted what he did. So, none of what this girl did or has done warrants marks on her body, things thrown at her, holes put in the wall, being screamed at in front of her child, or their child, sorry. Also, I just love when people downplay the seriousness of this. This is why women don't come forward. This is why millions of women die. Because they're scared. I was with my ex-husband a lot longer than I should have been. Because I was trapped. And I was scared. My parents didn't even know what was going on until I was getting ready to leave him. And then they were like, well, why didn't you ever tell us? Well, because I was afraid of what they would think. Because most of the time, their reactions were, well, what did you do? What did I do to make him do that? And that seems to be the theme, is, well, what did you do to make him react that way? It shouldn't fucking matter what I did. He still put his hands on me. It shouldn't matter what she did. And at the end of the day, women and men are being physically abused and not coming forward because of people like this that responded to, my post or my repost because they're scared. This poor girl told me that she was more scared that this family would go against her, and that's exactly what they did. And I was not surprised at all. At all. Because again, like I said earlier, they went against me. If you're not blood, then you might as well just be a piece of crap. A burning pile of piece of crap to them. If you do one thing wrong, sorry. And, it baffles me. It really baffles me. Because I understand being there for your family, but when you know that your son or your brother has problems, and then this happens, you shouldn't instantly blame the other person. You should try to get help for your son or brother who has issues. And until that's done and fixed, then, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not sorry for posting what I posted. And I will continue to post things on domestic violence, whether I get one side of the story or both. I don't care. I really don't. Because again, nothing warrants violence. At all. And unless you've been through it, you can't speak about it. I'm sorry. You can empathize, maybe. No, not empathize. You can sympathize. But you can't talk about it because you haven't been through it. Don't tell me that anything that I did warranted being abused. Because again, it didn't. And don't tell me that anything that this girl did warranted having to go through what she's gone through. Because it doesn't. So, for you lovelies that are pissed off at me, I don't care. I really don't. And if anything, it just fuels me even more to get my point across. Because obviously, you didn't get the point. You felt I was attacking somebody, when in reality, I was trying to get my point across on toxic relationships. But once you start stuff, dirty laundry comes out itself. So again, take a real good hard look in the mirror at yourselves before you start judging others. Because no, I am nowhere near perfect, and I never admit that I am, and I always admit my faults. I do. I really do. I admit whenever I'm wrong. It might be a hard pill to swallow sometimes to admit when I'm wrong, but I admit when I'm wrong. And the thing is that this time, I'm not wrong. You are. Sorry. And like I said, I don't care if she did anything to him or whatever. It's a toxic relationship that she needed to get out of, and she did. So, that's all I have to say about that. And if you can't understand that, then please, by all means, still be pissed at me. Because that just means that your ignorance is still not understanding the issue. And that's fine. Maybe one day you'll learn and understand the issue of the toxic relationships and the violence that does not need to be there. But until then, I really don't have much else to say. So, yeah. as always, this is real life. Have fun with it.